All right, RJ, another tough one.
Yeah, for sure.
um,
Uh,
well,
7 losses in a row. Uh, yeah, here we are.
yeah, it's like easy to be like, oh, like a calendar month since we last won, but obviously, lots of stuff not there.
For sure, for sure. But yeah, I mean, again, there were some bright spots. There were a few things, for stretches, but then you take the bad and it definitely kind of overshadows the good, whether it's just that defensive breakdown to make it 4-2 or just starting flat in the first.
I was gonna
Um,
say whether it's just leaving Joe Pavelski wide open several times,
oh man,
not even having a goalie like in net, essentially, as JT Brown was saying.
yeah, Joe Pavelski matches up perfectly against this Kraken team because if you are not always diligent in watching him in front of the net, if you ever have a tendency to maybe lose guys in front or lose track of your defensive coverage, Pavelski will make you pay more than just about any player in the NHL, and he sure did that tonight.
Yeah. Interestingly, and maybe this is the same. Maybe this is just me, but I just opened the NHL app on my phone just so I could have like the numbers and stuff from this
Yeah.
game. The game doesn't exist. Their last game was against Colorado, and the like default thing it comes up is the Blues game. So,
Oh yeah, interesting. All right.
so obviously everybody's on board with just like let's just ignore that just happened. Uh,
Yep.
hopefully, everybody else got to enjoy the game. Everything was all right. Yeah, the Pavelski goals were a bit of a bummer. The first period was bad. Like,
Yeah.
like I thought they did okay the rest of the game, really, and certainly towards the end there, they got tons of opportunities. Just couldn't get anything done. But that first period was brutal. I do know that they lost the face-off battle in the first period 15-6, but they like stormed back and they were ahead at the end of the second, and I know that continued through the third. Again, I don't have the actual ending number because
Right.
apparently the game didn't happen. But I thought we were past that, the whole like slow start thing. It seemed like we had gotten better about that, but I guess not.
I know. They just came out flat, and it's one of those that I kind of suspected they might after starting so well in the Colorado game,
Hmm.
because they've just had this problem all season where they kind of can't take the good things from a moral victory and translate them into the next game and then get over the hump.
Hmm.
And it was just the story again tonight.
Exactly. So moving on over to comments Striatic first up with Pavelski'd. Yeah,
Yep.
we were Pavelski'd. Hey Brian, how's it going? Alex didn't catch this game, but what did we ever do to Joe Pavelski? I know. Oh, brutal. Striatic with the nice reminder for everybody to like the video. Thank you very much.
Yep. Thank you.
Lindsay, oof. Hey guys. Hi, Lindsay.
Happy birthday!
I was gonna
Happy
say
birthday!
happy
Yeah.
birthday, Lindsay. Lindsay.
Yeah.
We'll get back to that in a little bit later.
Yep.
Let's see. Reading ID, super entertaining game tonight. Just choosing to retroactively black out for the first period and that second power play. Yeah, overall, I thought the power plays were actually pretty good for the Kraken
Yes,
tonight.
I was definitely impressed by how the power play was operating. And one of the big differences I saw was that the Stars PK was very conservative. They were very passive.
Yeah.
They let the Kraken have a lot of time and space, and I mean they just used it to their advantage, as you should.
Mm-hmm.
Not to take anything away from the Kraken power play, but man, they had a lot of time to work with.
For sure, for sure. And yeah, the first one, the goal, I've got it set up on the whiteboard. I actually have two plays on the whiteboard for in a little bit from tonight. Let's see, Hunter. It's hard to believe that this team was built around the defense. It's arguably the worst part of the team. Ultimately, I think it has more to do with the system rather than the players. I certainly see that argument, but there's just some. It, really,
Hey,
the poor.
Dylan,
Yeah.
we're getting Jared McCann now,
All
so
right. All right. RJ's gonna disappear and go do that. All right, so this was our solution for these road games. Normally on the road games, RJ wouldn't have access to the media availability, but because they're doing everything on Zoom, this is how we're going. So RJ's gonna kind of come in and out as the media stuff goes, so that he can then come back and let us know how everything went. But for the meantime, you're stuck with me. So What was I saying? Ultimately, I think it's yeah. So when it comes to the defensive breakdowns for the team, certainly some of it is systematic. We've for sure seen that. Forwards need to be doing a better job of getting back. That being said, like with some of those Pavelski ones where he's just like completely wide open, the end of the day, like just head on a swivel, know where guys are at. If you're a defenseman and the puck is on your partner's side of the ice, like obviously you kind of need to know what's going on, but really you need to be looking around at what else is going to happen. Like what potential play is going to be there for the other team. You have to be ready for that. And the Kraken really struggle when it comes to doing things like that. So, um, yeah, so again, Hunter, agree with you to some extent that it's the system. Otherwise, there's still just some plays that it's on the players and they got to do a better job. Kraken haven't won a game since December 14th in San Jose. Yeah, see, it's almost almost full month there. Again, though, not like a regular full month. Yes, let's start with the positives. I know, Jared. Oh, brutal, brutal. Stratic. Also, I'm not even asking for a win this game. Just 3 goals, a goal per period. Is that too much to ask? Let's start there and then get some wins. I agree with you, Stratic. That would be nice if we could just average a goal a period. I think that would do wonders for this team. And I think more often than not, we'd at least be able to get a point out of some of these games. It's hard to win games, hard to get points in this league if you're going to score 2 or less. It's just bottom line. Uh, Alex with the swimming emoji. Oh, and then the whoops. Okay, I'm like, are we floundering? Is that what you're trying to say there, Alex? Four Horsemen only watched the first Yarncroke power play goal. Wow, what a sequence! Yeah, so you know what? We'll just go ahead and talk about that. I'll pull it up. It's one of the 2 plays I've got ready on the whiteboard. Let me see. So if I can just see what I'm doing here. All right, so pretty simple sequence on the power play. Let me know if this is familiar to you all. The kind of like triangle, loose triangle thing they've got. I guess this would be what, an isosceles triangle, maybe, if I'm remembering right from a very, very long time ago. Puck starts over here. I don't remember. I think it was McCann. Passes it to JoJo down here, who's the man kind of net front, right up to Yarncroke in the bumper slot. Shoots it, scores. It's fantastic. But the whole play only worked because Johansson passed the puck the moment the puck touched his stick. It was essentially a one-timer pass. And that's something that I've been saying for a really long time, both when it comes to passing and to shooting for this team, is you have to just take the shot, make the pass the moment you can. Too often we see the Kraken try to settle the puck down, read the play, make sure the other guy's going to be ready for what they're trying to do or whatever. And really all it does is get the other team's goalie ready for the play that's going to happen, gets the defense ready. They can get into the passing lane or the shooting lane. But this was a perfect example of what happens if you just, launch the puck. You just go with the play. And we saw it. The whole purpose of this triangle is to get the goalie pushing off that post and either opening up the short side here along the post, or in this case, having him push off but not really know where he's going, and so he doesn't push off enough, and you've got the whole other side of the net empty, which is what Yarncroke used and took advantage of in that. So I loved that Johansson just passed the puck the moment he could, because that is something that I've been asking for a very long time, and as we saw tonight, that is, it gets results. So really happy about that first power play goal. Happy for Yarncroke getting another one. Boy, Callie, always fun. Let's see. Alex, yes, Pavelski was an absolute terror in that Stanley Cup final a couple years ago for sure. He was very, very good in that. Four Horsemen, gonna watch Slapshot tonight. Other recommendations for hockey movies? All right, I'm going to open that one up to everybody, and then we'll come back to it when we get there in chat. Everybody's favorite hockey movies, and then that way we can also wait for RJ to come in as well to join with that one. But great question, Four Horsemen. That's going to be fun to talk about in a little bit. Ty, oh no, we suck again. Yeah, I mean, we kind of picked up where we left off yesterday, Ty, to some extent, with a pretty brutal first period to match the third period from 2 days ago. But, they turned it around. Rest of that game was very good. And again, the third period, the amount of chances they were able to get, they were pouring pressure on the Stars. They just weren't able to quite get something going, or always get the look that they wanted. Ryan Donato is such a beast. Like, obviously McCann needs to get paid. We all know that. He's fantastic. Eberle started to show up a little bit offensively in this one, just a hair, but I noticed him at least. Noticed him defensively too, not the best ways, but I was at least noticing him in the offensive zone this go around. But Ryan Donato, just the power moves to get to the net, try to get something going that way. Absolutely fantastic. Alex with a couple movie recommendations, Miracle and Goon, both great movies. I love The Goon. That might be my favorite hockey movie, actually, is The Goon. It's a good one. Not one to watch with the kids at all. I will throw that out there. Wouldn't do that, but it's a good movie. Let's see, Kraken Hawk. This team has been cursed with bad luck all season. A lot of scoring opportunities just do not happen for them. That was apparent in the third period tonight. Exactly. It is to some extent just bad luck that the chances haven't been going in. It's not for lack of trying. That is for sure. It's just something that seems to happen to them for whatever reason. Some of it is kind of system. Like, they'll get a lot of shots on goal, but we talked about before, shots on goal isn't always the best barometer for, success and whether or not you're unlucky. I mean, Dallas had like 1,000 shots, but they all missed the net in the first period of this one, so their shot total didn't exactly look all that great. Certainly early on, like for a long time, they were just sitting on 4 shots, but they had way more shots than that. They just weren't on net, so they don't register as such. And I think that kind of plays to Seattle as well to some extent, is they'll take a lot of really safe shots, or they'll telegraph their shot, or all that stuff. So they make for easy saves on goaltenders. So sometimes their shot total will look really good, but as far as actual chances, it's maybe not always there. Alex, I've heard Mystery Alaska is good, but never seen it. Same. I've heard it's really good. I have not seen it either. Alex. Also from Four Horsemen, tough game, but ECH still rocks. Podcast names are very cool. Thank you for saying that, for one. And yes, we have the Deep Dive merch up on our Teespring store right now. Link in the description below for anybody who's interested in that. Krakenhawk, did anyone else notice the arena playing Lithium during the last stoppage of play before the end of the game? It's like we're being dissed, which we deserve. Yeah, that was a little bit of trolling from Dallas, for sure. I did like that overall the music that they were playing, and I like that they, the music would stop. Let's see, they did it with All the Small Things, Mr. Brightside, and oh man, another one. I forget which one. And the crowd just kept going. Finish the verse, get through the chorus. It's pretty great. I always love being at hockey games when that happens. So I will give the Dallas Stars fans a shout out for that one. But yes, the play in the Lithium, they didn't need to do that. But at the same time, I feel like if it was my team that kind of trolled the other team for losing on our ice, I'd probably be in favor of it. So that's where I'm at. Let me know where you guys are at, if you think that crossed a line or anything. Alex, I forgot it was officially announced that our favorite draft pick, Matty Beniers, will be going to the Olympics. Yeah, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. I'm so excited for that, and to see him on that stage, and really for all the young guys that are going to be going to the Olympics, because as we talked about on our Patreon podcast, if you're a young player, you've watched so much turmoil over the Olympics, your whole development cycle. You could be looking at this and saying, I could play in the NHL 12 years and only realistically have 1 or 2 shots at the Olympics, just because the NHL doesn't go all the time. They don't let all the players go. So this might be, for a lot of guys, their only ever opportunity to do it. So I think that's going to be really special. Greg, watch these games looking for guys that aren't playing hard, and I almost never find a forward that isn't showing effort. I consistently see defensemen that aren't showing effort or are in the clouds. Yeah, and talk about consistency. It's inconsistent about which defenseman that is game to game and even period to period. There were times tonight where Will Borgen was playing fantastic. He was handling rushes. I thought he was playing really well. Other times he's just standing there and the play is happening around him. I think that's the thing that bothers me the most, is the lack of consistency. Giordano, some rough moments tonight, some fantastic moments tonight. It's like just pick what kind of player you want to be. You want to be a good player, be a good player. You want to be a bad player, just be a bad player. At least we can all know that going in. But the inconsistency bothers me a lot there. But I understand where you're coming from, Greg, and I do agree with that. More often than not, when a play doesn't happen, it's because the defenseman is just kind of puck watching the play happen around them. The forwards are always grinding. Brian, wow, just wow. Words cannot describe how I feel right now, lol. It's a little rough, Brian. That is for sure. Unless you're 100% on the pain for Shane train, it's rough right now for sure. Lindsay, oh, thanks, guys. I'm Jamie Alexiak, years old today. Smiley face. Yeah, no worries. It's good. We'll sing later, I promise. Joshua, Mystery Alaska is great. So there's another good one. Kraken Hawk, Riker Evans has been getting a lot of buzz as of late. What's your take on how he'll play on the Kraken? I think he's going to play really well. Offensive defenseman. He's kind of playing right now the way we thought Vince Dunn would be playing for this team, as far as generating a lot of offense, getting a lot of assists, being able to, do well on the power play, quarterbacking the power play. So in that sense, I feel like because Vince Dunn hasn't quite lived up to those expectations or filled that role on this team, I think that certainly once Giordano leaves and like the first unit power play stuff opens up, and his kind of trigger man even on 5-on-5 situations, once that role opens up, once Giordano either is traded before the deadline or leaves at the end of the season, I think Riker Evans can probably come in and fill that, and I think he's playing well enough right now that he should be on the roster next year, but we'll have to wait and see what they do with all their defensemen, because the bottom line is they just have so many of them at the moment. But I'm liking what I see from Riker Evans. Again, I apologize for just not being able to get enough tape to do a video on him, guys. I apologize. But we do have the draft videos coming soon. I'm working on the Shane Wright one now. I think we only announced this on the Patreon pod, so for everybody, the draft prospect scouting report videos, they're going to drop on the Patreon, and then a month after they drop on the Patreon, they're going to be once a month. They're going to just be loaded up to the regular channel on YouTube. So if you're a Patreon member, you get like a full month's early access, and I'll be there to, answer questions and talk with everybody about the scouting report there. So that'll be fun. And if you're interested, again, link to the Patreon's in the description below. Alex, now loading RJ. Yeah, RJ's actually already been here. This is our solution so that he could join the Zoom press conferences, because they're still doing everything through Zoom. So for these away games, he gets access. So we're just going to do this while he's working on those, and then when he's done with that, he'll pop back in. And the loading RJ screen's everybody's favorite screen anyway, so we just thought we'd put it up. I think it's good. We need to create a pool for the date of the next win. It's from Cracking Me Up, like that name. Yeah. We do. So if anybody wants to start that up, go for it. I do not endorse illegal gambling. I cannot. I'm pretty sure that's against YouTube policy. But what anybody else does on their own is what they do. Is that an unloading RJ screen? Yes, we were unloading him. Alex, it will be sometime this year. But this season, Alex, or this year? I'm going to take it you mean calendar year. Let's see. Does RJ ask questions in the pressers? Can we feed him random ones like favorite ice cream, favorite youth hockey memory? I do know RJ asks questions from time to time. Yes. I think I don't know that after losses are the best time to be asking the personal fun questions, or road trips, especially when they got a game tomorrow night. My guess is everybody's trying to cycle through pretty quick. But yes, we got to get as the playoffs fall out of focus. I think the room for the personality grows for sure for Horseman. Stu, not exactly what you'd call a stellar power play. Sad. That being said, at times the power play wasn't that bad today, so I'm okay. Let's see. Crack me up. Yes to questions. Let's see. Alex. And I'm score sells triangle. Yes. For sure. Jared's non-Kraken Dallas question. They highlighted Ryan Winterton in the OHL. Is the AHL next, then the Kraken? Yeah, probably. Especially with how deep the Kraken are and everything. So, RJ is coming back. Let's get him in. All right. Hey, RJ, how'd the questions go?
Went all right. I mean, kind of par for the course given one of these games. Started off with Jared McCann, as I mentioned earlier. It lasted 2 questions. There were 2 questions for Jared McCann. And I mean, really the only quote was, was enough's enough. Everyone's getting pretty
Hmm.
frustrated. It was just kind of like we know we need to be better, and Yarncroak kind of echoed that sentiment too. Like, yeah, he was asked, what happened between the first and second. He's like, yeah, we all knew we just did not play well in the first period,
Hmm.
and we were not going to have a chance at winning if we kept playing like that. So we came out and just tried to be better. From Hackstall, basically said, he thought the first period, was not up to the effort level that they need to have. Thought the second and third were fine. Um, he was asked about the Stars forecheck, which I thought was interesting. He said they didn't really have a different style of forecheck. They were just, really hard at it or whatever. But that seemed like a big factor in the game too.
Hmm.
I don't know. It just kind of going through the motions a little bit there.
I was gonna say, how many times are we gonna hear from whether it's Hackstall or one of the players just, you know, we're tired of it. We know we got to do
Yeah.
better. We got to
I
what?
I
Yeah,
think it.
it's
I,
like,
I I think at this point they're kind of running out of answers to give, and I think
mhm.
at this point a lot of us are running out of questions to ask. Because what are you going to ask them about the defensive breakdowns for the 20th time this season and get
Yeah.
the same answer again? Like what are you going to say?
Uh,
So I
I don't
yeah.
know. Four Horsemen had some good questions. Favorite ice cream flavor.
Okay, yeah,
That's
there we go.
that's what that's
See,
what we're gonna
see,
start asking them.
those are some good ones. You need a win. You need a win
I know. That's
somewhere
what I
there in the
said.
last 7 games. You need a win, and then you can go for that stuff. I love those kind of questions too. Like they're fun and
Hmm.
everything, but like no one's gonna answer that stuff right now. That's another reason. It's just so much more
Yeah.
fun to cover the team when
Yeah.
they're winning.
Greg, do you think Cali will net the Kraken a third rounder or better? I can't see us getting more than a seventh for Geo. We talked a ton about that on the last podcast, the
Hmm.
first episode of the deep dive. So you can look for that elsewhere on the channel, Greg. But yes, I do think Cali could probably get maybe a second rounder. Just on trade deadline day, as teams are desperate to add stuff, especially if he starts heating up, which it seems like he is.
He has been, yeah.
Yeah, and then Geo, I mean, that could go as high as a first, just
It could.
because of who he is and teams valuing that leadership and depth on defense on
Yep.
trade deadline day. Striatic, I feel like the system is relying too much on the D not to puck watch, but they are anyway. Maybe the system needs to stress just getting back to home base, even if it isn't optimal positioning. You could do something like that. You always run the risk of getting in the goaltender's way, is the problem.
Mhm. Yeah, there's trade-offs to everything there, and ideally you want a system where guys can just be in the spots you want them to be, and they're aware of where they are and can make adjustments. But yeah, it's not a shift you really want to have to make, but yeah, it might improve things a little bit.
Like I said, if the play's on your partner's side, you're free to look around. Take
Hmm.
take notice. It's okay. Alex, probably rare to go straight from junior to the NHL. Yeah, answering Jared questions up there. Alex with the geometry puns. I love it. It's from Joshua. Alex, so the Athletic released their player cards today, and according to those cards, Gio is actually having a good season defensively. Not sure I agree there.
Hmm.
I mean,
Uh,
he had a really good play tonight on one of them, kind of shutting down a potential breakaway.
Oh, that's right. I do remember that. Yeah, and he's had his moments certainly. But then again, that's a model like that isn't going to take that into account necessarily. Just the stuff that we notice on the eye test. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see kind of what his other advanced, because those models are proprietary. We don't get to see what
Yes.
goes into them. But interesting to see what goes into that.
I will say, I think most of the times when we have criticized him this season, it has been for offensive zone play, not defensive zone play. So that could also be factoring in there
That
as
is a good
well.
point.
From George, have you noticed Yanni being increasingly frustrated the past few games? It's got to be tough going from back to back Stanley Cups to this. Would love to see him channel that into firing the boys up. Yeah, I mean, we've seen him channel it into firing the boys up, but yes, the last couple games, the smiles maybe not as prevalent as we'd like.
Yeah, and I've looked for him in some of the scrums too, and hasn't been smiling. It's got to be tough going from back to back cups to this.
Yeah, and yeah, and he was there for good portions of that Colorado game, but it just yeah, it is have to be rough. Hunter, who would you blame more for this losing streak? The players or the coaching staff not making tactical or personnel changes? Do you want to go first on this one?
For me, I guess the first half of the losing streak, I'd say the coaching staff, and then these last couple games since then, because I think the coaching staff did a lot to work on things, did a
Mm-hmm.
lot to improve things. Then it's on the players to get it going and like finish a game when you're up 3-2. in the third.
Yeah, and I would agree with that completely because we have seen the coaching staff make changes. They are trying. At some point, it's on the players to execute from there. But things were a little stale going into the big break and everything. So as always, it's a total team effort. Wins and losses. It
Yep.
just kind of boils down to that. Eric with a couple movie recommendations, some documentaries. The Russian Five and Pond Hockey. The Russian Five is a good one. All about that group that came over to play with the Red Wings, the fall of the Soviet Union and a little before. That was definitely good. Alex, if we're talking documentaries, Untold Crimes and Penalties is amazing. Basically, imagine if the Sopranos owned a hockey team. Yeah, you got a favorite hockey movie you want to bring up here, RJ?
Let's see. Hockey movies. I mean, I assume like these classic ones have been covered. I don't know where the thing gonna like the Mighty Ducks, and
Yeah,
you know, um, let's see. Has Mystery Alaska been talked about?
yeah, Mystery Alaska has been talked
Okay,
about.
because I like that one.
The Goon,
Uh,
all that kind of stuff.
yeah, Goon. Yep.
I would say yes. The was it King's Ransom, the 30 for 30 on the Gretzky trade. I liked
Mm,
that one a lot, and it's really insightful moment in something that is just so unique to anything in all of sports. Just the for sure best player of that sport just being traded in the middle of your prime, coming off a win like that just doesn't happen.
yep.
And so that one's a good one too. Throw that in there for documentaries. Reading ID. Netflix has a fun Spanish show called Hockey Girls, teen drama about roller hockey. Great music and vibes. Recommend. I'll check it out. Reading ID. Thank you for that. Also, doc about the Thrashers on Netflix. That's from Eric. There's a Thrashers
I
documentary on
didn't know
Netflix.
about that.
I'm
Okay, we
gonna
gotta look into that.
Eric, if you could drop the name of that for us, that'd be awesome.
Yes, please.
Let's see. Let's see. Ty, we're missing some fire. Tanev not there is starting to show some Schwartzy swagger. Colorado game showed similar issues in the third. Needs some passion and some fire out of someone, please. I agree. A lot of some of the issues they're having is because Tanev is not there. It certainly
Yep.
hurts from the entertainment value, if anything.
For sure. Yeah, just seeing him out there, giving 110% every shift and yeah, I think he would have made a big difference in each of these last two games that were ultimately pretty close.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. Lindsay, Beniers is nominated for the Hobie Baker Award.
Yep, that
I
happened
mean,
today. Good for him. Well
well
deserved.
deserved for sure. God, it must have been. Is it just like all Michigan guys?
Yeah, seriously.
Alex, so in terms of baseline performance, I feel like I've been upset with Susi this year the least. He's about as consistent a defenseman as you will find on this team. That's interesting. Would you agree with that, RJ?
Hmm. I mean, he rarely makes any kind of egregious mistake. And it's again, I wasn't too impressed with him tonight. There were a few times I kind of noticed him wandering or just maybe not in the right spot. But again, nothing really bad. So yeah, as far as avoiding egregious mistakes, I think that's a good observation. What do you think?
Well, I was gonna say I would agree with that, but these last couple games, like this last sequence, kind of
Hmm.
since the holiday break, I haven't liked what I've seen from Susi, and I don't think the coaching staff does either. He's playing like crazy low minutes right now, and I think that that's factoring in a little bit. Only played like 14 and a half minutes tonight. Not a lot.
No,
He used
for a
to be
defenseman,
playing
yeah.
more. Yeah, he used to be playing more. So I don't know what the deal is there, but he's starting to trail off. I don't know if again just the inconsistent in and out of the lineup stuff earlier kind of messed with him, or now that
Yeah.
he's consistently in the lineup, that's getting to him. I can't imagine that would be the case though.
Yeah, they dropped him to the third pair with Will Borgen this game, and I was
Hmm.
surprised by that because it was different than what they had gone with previously.
Yeah, and we'll see what happens tomorrow because I think they made some of these defensive changes based on the back-to-back
Hmm.
games. Hunter, it's Groundhog Day with this team at the moment. Yeah, and it's it's what this is our third big losing streak.
Yeah, yeah, it's the third long one. This is the longest now. It's 7 games.
Yeah, it's kind of nuts, really. It is unique and it's brutal. Stu, get over it, folks. This is a first year team. Enjoy the ride and the games for what they are. NHL hockey. Yes, and that is again the attitude. Number one thing to be focusing on is Seattle has NHL hockey, and that is great. We have a team. it's our team. We can go with
Yep.
that.
For sure. I mean, all day today I was looking forward to the game. I'm like, oh, cool, Kraken play at 5:30,
Mm-hmm.
and tomorrow same thing.
Yep. Ty, Stu, it's an effort frustration more than it's winning or not for me. Okay, that's
And that's understandable for
for
sure.
sure.
That's when the game actually starts, where I'm like, okay, guys.
Yeah. Autumn, always going to root for a win, but the losses can't hurt me anymore. Hashtag enjoy the pain to acquire Shane.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's where we're at.
Mm-hmm. Uh, Alex Dillon does also not endorse it though. Yeah. Let's see, Lindsay. Do you think we'll see Decord play another game this season? I think he's doing pretty good down in Charlotte, but unless Driggs gets injured, I don't know. My guess would be no, unless they're
Yeah,
one of
no,
them's
unless
out.
they get injured, but I don't know, maybe maybe
Mm-hmm.
even I don't know.
Yes. Four Horsemen. My time for random questions will come. It will. Just need a win. Just
Yep.
need a win. Looking forward to seeing Drigger tomorrow. Now that you mention it, it's from Rating ID. I am too. It'd
Oh
be
yeah,
interesting to see which Drigger we get.
I know. Which one's it gonna be? Nobody knows.
That being said, what was interesting was, we had talked about which goalies would you start for this game. We both
Uh-huh.
said Grubauer for this Dallas game,
Yeah.
and Drieger for the next one because of the style. And the rebounds. I was worried with starting Drieger against Dallas that the rebounds would be a big issue. Rebounds not an issue in this one. Just having no one around anywhere wasn't the issue.
Yeah, you really can't fault Grubauer on just about any of these goals. I just tap ins to open nets all day.
Yeah. Thrasher's Doc, 100%. Trash Pandas. I like it. Gio's a fantastic leader and defensive master. You should give us a first rounder and more. I would take a first rounder and more. Not sure we can get that one.
So, yeah, is it close enough to the deadline? We need to start hyping him up now. Every post game's just like, oh, Gio, the lone bright spot. Like, he was fantastic. Any team
Yes.
would be lucky to have him.
We just start putting out a bunch of stuff, promoting it
Yep.
for other fan bases.
Our player cards say he's the #1 player on the whole team in the league, really.
Mm-hmm. The Athletic put Adam Larson's market value at 0.0. That's from Autumn.
That's insulting. All right,
It's-
Dylan.
Oh my gosh. Like, why though? Like, he talk about consistency. We talked earlier about the frustration with the D, and ultimately it boils down to consistency because we've basically seen everybody look terrible and everybody look pretty good at some point. Larson's the only one that, outside of like one or two games, and those were really just because he was getting pissed off and taking dumb penalties, that has been good. He's at least been above average or better in virtually every game this season. So I don't know.
Dylan will beat that bid. Dylan will bid higher than that.
I will. $1. Let's go. Look, it could be worse. At least we're not trying to woo Evander Kane. That's from Striatic. RJ, what is Edmonton doing?
Oh my god, they are being the Oilers. I mean, we know this is not a well managed team. Are you surprised? Are you really surprised?
I'm not surprised because it's Ken Holland.
Yeah, it's Ken Holland. This is what they're gonna do. How about that McDavid presser?
Oh, what? I don't
That
know
was
what he.
brutal.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what he was thinking for that one. That was rough. But yeah, that's what Edmonton needed. They needed Evander Kane and Duncan Keith. Clearly. So, at least we're consistent. It's nice. All right, Alex. The Athletic put Grubauer at -9.6 WAR.
Seems about right.
Yeah, that does seem about right. Alex, it's
Not good.
Trashers, not Thrashers. Oh, okay. That makes more sense now.
Yeah.
Unger having a good game, and he's only 23 years old. Yeah, I mean you've watched him more than I have, I think.
Yeah, I like a lot of the fundamentals there with him. I mean, he's got that size. His movement's pretty good. He kind of reminds me of Thatcher Demko from, a few years ago where he was, a little more unpolished. Actually, maybe like a couple of years ago. He's kind of ahead of the curve there age-wise on Thatcher Demko. But I think that's kind of the comp that I would give given the size and the movement. I think that's where Demko is now is probably, where Ottinger could get to, maybe even a little bit better.
Yeah, that was who I was going to say. Like, he reminds me of as a better Thatcher Demko. But I remember also having issues with Ottinger too. Like I was just like, I don't know that this is really the answer long term kind
Mhm.
of guy. Just because that style of goaltending, for whatever reason, it's unappealing to me, and I tend to be rough on those guys. But they're both starting to prove me wrong.
Yep.
So we'll see. The other decal on his mask was adorable. 10 out of 10 cuteness. I
The
wasn't.
otter.
Oh, the
The
otter.
otters. Did you see those on the
I
mask?
didn't.
They're adorable. Oh man, it's so great. Yeah, look up Ottinger mask when we're
I
done with this.
will.
It's great. Yeah, and Lindsay, 100%.
Mm-hmm. Kitty B. Kraken's asking, how have we done on back-to-backs this year? Predict a blowout win tomorrow.
Uh, not great.
If I was gonna say, if memory serves, not great, but I guess the answer to most of those questions has been not great so far this year.
Right. I don't know that really. Let's see. Uh, on the second half, I'm seeing if the Kraken have ever won the second half of back to back. Okay, the Tampa Florida one they did.
Okay.
And that's the only one.
All right. Granted, they haven't had a ton of back-to-back
No, I think
opportunities.
that's out of like 4 pairs of back to backs.
Yeah,
I think they're
so
1-3 on the second half.
Which is in line with
Not a
their
whole lot worse than their record.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's pretty much in line for them. So, cracking me up. Maybe they just need to relax and start having fun. Their muscle memory might take over if they loosen up. I agree with that because it's one of those, like, how many times do we talk when somebody's in a scoring slump or something, right? They're just too in their head. They're trying to make something happen. It's very possible that is their problem during these losing streaks too.
Yeah. I mean, do they need I don't know, just kind of someone in the room to lighten things up? Like Tanev, I would think would be just like one of those guys, just kind of lighten things up. I'm sure he's still around, but I don't know. You just need more of a joker, I suppose. Just bring in someone like that at the trade deadline. Someone who's borderline, like fourth liner, not expensive, just to get him to lighten up a little bit.
I know. I'm trying to think of who the best option would be. I don't know. Just bring in a Russian.
There you go. I know they don't have any Russians.
You got to bring in a Russian. That's the problem. It'll fix everything. Valentina, I've only seen through the first period, but I'm stopping by to smash like, risking spoilers, but considering what merch I'm going to get with my shiny new Patreon discount. Awesome. Thanks for liking stream and for shopping with us and promoting the Patreon. Yes.
Yep,
so.
I think just in time for the last live commentary, she signed up. So
yep,
glad you're liking it, taking advantage of it.
Yep. Geopropaganda, it is time from Ty. Yeah, so if everybody in chat, there's 34 people right now. If everybody just picks one team, we just start going to all of their things, all their fan forums, all their, if they have YouTube channels, we just start promoting Geo. We're all good. Let's see.
That's how these things work.
That is how these things work. Lindsay, so the Leafs are down 0-1 to the Coyotes after 2. If this holds, then Arizona will only be 2 wins behind us. Yikes, I do hope the Leafs come back in the third, though. Oh my gosh.
I mean,
if Arizona catches us in the standings, RJ.
That would be pretty bad. Hey, the Leafs have already tied it.
All right. I was going to say, still got a 7-point cushion.
Matthews, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's at home. He's got to get at least one goal. I know he tried to do the Michigan earlier in the game.
Well, I mean, why not? It's only the Coyotes.
I know.
Although if they were losing at some point, then expect that to be the only thing talked about in Toronto tomorrow.
Oh, for sure.
His lack of game awareness. Valentina, my thoughts on the game so far. 1, hopefully Blackwell got his blown tire out of the way with the face-off. 2, that first goal was the mother of all bad bounces. 3, nice to see the Stars tribute to an injured Geeky with the can't out Pizza the Hut graphic.
How did I miss that?
I missed it too.
Oh, that's great.
That is fantastic.
They really got the whole presentation, everything together in Dallas. They do a fantastic job with that.
Yeah, I talked about the whole, the crowd finishing the songs and stuff and how enjoyable that is. I went to
like 3 or 4 of them too.
I know. I went to the Penguins Ducks game last night, and the Ducks PA thing was trying to get that to happen, and just nobody was biting, and it was pretty brutal, I will say. Granted, that place was maybe half full, and it was probably more equal Penguins fans to Ducks fans, so it was an interesting crowd. Autumn, I have very low expectations for Francis to get any value out of our players at the deadline. I mean, if we're basing it only off of the expansion drafts.
I was going to say, low key, so do I. I don't want to talk too much about it, but yeah, I'll believe it when I see it as far as him getting top value.
I was gonna say, you know what we should do for the podcast next Monday, RJ, is we should go back to Carolina and check out all the trade deadlines that he had there. See what he was
Oh, you know
doing.
what? That would be really good.
I know the situations
Break
might
that
not have
down.
been the same, as far as
Mhm.
like an absolute fire sale, but you can it might be able to glean something interesting from it. I think
Okay,
that'll be
great idea.
fun.
I love looking at stuff like that. Just look at all the trades and just see what you can come up with.
Yes, for sure. All right, and then last comment on here. Wow, Lindsey, JK Austin Matthews just scored in his Arizona homecoming game, tied at 1. Yes, only a matter of time before he's there 41 games a year, right, RJ?
Absolutely. Yep,
Yeah.
that's where he's going once that contract's up.
I was
We,
gonna
we all know it.
I was gonna say, how are we gonna sing to Lindsay? Should we, just you and I sing? Should we? I don't know. I'm trying to think of ways to get chat
An
involved.
interactive way, right? But how would you do that?
I know. I was gonna
Any
say.
ideas? All right, Chad,
Everybody,
see what
everybody
you got.
types one word. I don't know. I think we should just do it, RJ. Make it
Yeah, let's
easy.
do it.
All right.
All right.
On a 1
Ready?
and a 2 and a 3. Happy
Happy
birthday
birthday.
to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear
Happy
Lindsay. Happy birthday to
birthday
you.
to and Tom
Yay!
Marwicki.
Yes. And Fitzhugh's wife, as
Yeah, and
mentioned on
Fitzhugh's
the
wife.
on the
Love
broadcast.
that call from Forsland. His better half by
There we go.
far.
They're doing it. Chat's doing it. I
Yay,
love
there
it.
we
Love it, love it, love it. So hopefully you had a good day, Lindsay. For sure. All right. Drinking game ideas. I do have some drinking game ideas, but I also see the more whiteboard one. I'm going to do the whiteboard one first. This wasn't a Kraken play, but I wanted to highlight it because it's something that the Kraken have struggled with a lot. And that's defending odd man rushes.
All right, here we go.
All right, so this was when the Kraken had an on-man rush. It was a 3-on-2 against Dallas. I know you're just immediately out of focus again. Anyway, so the Kraken were moving up the ice 3-on-2. This guy over here on these boards, and I know it's all kind of flipped on the screen, had the puck, and as they were entering the zone, this Stars defenseman played it absolutely perfectly for a 3-on-2. As he neared the blue line, the Kraken player, he just kind of drifted over, but didn't commit to it, and then the moment he was touching the blue line, absolutely just rushed him. Because he was like, I'm just going to seal this off so you can't, carry the puck in and do anything with it. Get us at the normal odd man rush thing. And I'm going to force you to make a rushed pass at the blue line. Maybe it ends up offsides, but it's certainly not where your guys are going to be thinking of it. And most likely it's going to have to go to the center. So the other defenseman just bodied up the center for the Kraken, and it died instantly. The whole rush died right there on the spot. And I was like, that's how you defend an odd man rush. Kraken need to take notes on that and use that next time.
Yeah, good observation there, Dylan.
Just the blue line is like this wall, and I'll get to another blue line thing in a second, but it's a total wall because the puck carrier's got to go first, so take advantage of that if you're on defense. Pressure the puck carrier right at the blue line. You can't do it too soon, you can't do it too late, but if you get the timing right, you absolutely block it. This will be my last comment on the power play, though, RJ. Why do the Kraken think that the best way to try to gain zone entries on the power play is to have all four of their guys up there, all four non-puck carriers up at the blue line, along with all four of the other team's penalty killers, and then the person starting way back from like where the goalie is just gonna try to skate through all of that? Like, you have 8 people stuck at that blue line. What is that?
Yeah, I just try and think of like the getaway car trying to make it through the police roadblock strategy.
It's Red Rover all over again.
I know.
It's like, but they do it consistently. Like, they'll just pass it back to the furthest person back, and then everybody just goes and rushes and stands at the blue line. I'm just like, what is going on? Lindsay, that was totally out of sync, but thanks anyway, guys. Got a video.
Right.
Let's see. Please trade Gio before he gets hurt. It's from Rock Todd. When he shot, any emotion from Hack, shots on goal or defensive turnover, Donskoy goal is a chug. Yeah. So my drinking game ideas, I had a couple just based around the broadcast. Like, anytime all 3 casinos are mentioned in a game.
Oh, that's a good one.
You get one. Because what you'll be waiting on is that Muckleshoot power play.
Yep.
And
Yeah, no,
it's
that's a
not going to
great
happen every
point.
time. The other ones you're probably going to get every time unless the broadcast really messes something up.
Who's the sponsor for the opening puck drop? I know they have one for the opening puck drop. It
Isn't
just
that
sounds
Emerald Queen?
that is Emerald Queen. Yeah.
Yes. And then we have what's the other one? Ah, I know this.
Oh,
The other one for
was it Angel the Wins?
no,
No, it's
the
the
other
other one.
casino.
Chad, help us out.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm forgetting who it is. Oh well. So anytime all three of those are mentioned, anytime that the root broadcast puts up like key pieces of information for the next game, but it's just in that little pop up in the lower left
Yeah.
that you can barely read. Yes, Naqualmi.
So call me. There it is.
Yeah. Anytime they do that, like for this one, that the light rail's not going to be working, so you got to plan accordingly. And they have a shuttle set up for the game on Saturday against the Kings. It's like maybe have Forsland mention that for everybody. like you just popped it up twice during this game with this little box down in the bottom. I'm like, maybe have that talked about a little bit more. So that's another thing. And then anytime you're wishing you knew what the shots on goal were, and you look up and it's not part of their little graphic, take a drink.
Yep. There you go. That's a good one. Let's see. As far as some of the on ice things, yeah. Do you mention the response goals somewhere? Yeah, shot on goal after defensive turnover.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Yeah, I mean, do this anytime a goal is scored within 10 seconds of a center ice faceoff, because that encompasses the beginning of games, as we saw tonight, a problem, first minute, and then the response goals.
Yeah, recently I think like if intermission interview, like the player says we need to be better or something like where that wasn't good enough.
Yeah. Tile, man, shots on goal is going to be brutal for me. I know, just make it part of the graphic. Just put it there. It'd be fine. It's not going to take up any space. It's okay if we miss all the empty seats at all these arenas up there. It's okay.
Yep.
Let's see. Not holding out hopes for the Blues game, but after that, maybe the slump could be broken. Is it possible? I'm excited to see them play the Kings for the first time this season.
Yeah, me too. I think it'll be interesting. The Kings are doing well of late. You know, it'd be an interesting matchup.
Yes. All right. Yeah, I like that it's the Muckleshoot power play because they need to shoot more on it. 1,000% agree, Lindsay. And then reading ID, lol, the casino advertising is totally working on me. When I was in Seattle recently, every time I saw an ad, got a fuzzy Kraken feeling. For sure. I watch, of course, the games on ESPN Plus, so I get the ESPN Plus like ads, not the regular broadcast feed ads. And so and there's only like 4 ads that ESPN Plus uses just endlessly. So I could work something around that, but I don't know how many people are going to be doing that. How about money odds on the post-game poll? ECH Casino.
There we go.
Yep.
That's how we do it. ECH Casino.
That's the key to the real money. Man.
Failed power play zone entry. That's a good one, Ty, for a drink.
Yes. That one's really, really
failed
good.
Power play zone entry. Because I was thinking about this today, and I was trying to avoid getting too mean because I was just always thinking of negative things. Goal that Grubauer probably should have had. Something
defense, just not paying attention.
Yeah, like depth defenseman does something is going to get him scratched next game. Like one of those.
Yeah. Anytime, that young defenseman you thought was playing well last game, but he's on the bench and it's been 3 Nick games now. Like,
yeah.
What happened to Fleury?
Just gone, disappeared
into the void. He was lost in the depths.
Yeah,
there we go. That's just what happens. They get lost down there, I guess. It's brutal. We'll have more for next time. This can be a nice little developing thing for everybody.
Yep.
Joshua, 3 stars and duds. All right, RJ.
Okay. Yeah.
You want to go first? Go for it.
Early I was thinking the whole Gord Yarncroke Blackwell line. Then like Blackwell had kind of a bad turnover later, but I'm going to say Yarncroke with the goal and then being part of that line. Jared McCann, of course. Feels like every game.
Every game.
And then let's see. How did Gord finish up? I don't know. I mean, let's see. End of the game, I kind of was looking at other things.
Are you kidding? I was asking myself if Gord even played tonight.
Yeah, that line had such a good start to the second period and everything. They were driving that push, but yeah, after that he kind of disappeared. Um,
My third, because I agree with McCann and Boy Cali. My third would be Ryan Donato.
that's a good
Just,
one.
I mean, we talked a lot about on this and everybody on chat about that fire and that push and that drive. Donato is the embodiment of that. Every time he just bum rushes the net, makes that power move. It's awesome.
Yeah, for sure. Jordan Eberle maybe also. He was generating a lot of offense there with McCann.
Yes,
He
I
was asking the
noticed him.
intermission, like, "What's going so well for you?" He's like, "Ebs."
Yeah, it's a good one. Let's see. Every time Blackwell falls to the ice to drink, that's definitely
Yes,
one that
that's a
needs
good
to
one.
be there.
Blackwell hits the ice.
Joining late, but still saying Donskoy is scoring against the Blues. That's from Rexology. I mean,
I saw somewhere the stat that his so he doesn't have a goal. Obviously, his 14 assists without a goal are the most by any forward ever through the team's first 36 games.
just
Any NHL forward ever through. It's a weird stat.
like so only for expansion teams then, right? Like not through a season or something.
No, like any team, not just mention any team.
Nobody has ever had 14 assists through 35 games before?
With no goals?
Oh, with no goal. Okay.
And forwards. Defensemen do that.
I was going to say, because I'm like, defensemen do that. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I've seen Sidney Crosby get more than 14 assists.
And I did look this up myself earlier, that Donskoy has the most assists, points, ice time, all these shots on goal of like any forward in the NHL that doesn't have a goal by far.
Yeah. And I mean, another good opportunity tonight, too, on that one. He just ripped from the high slot.
Yeah.
Let's see. We need a list for the next live LOL brunch game. Yes.
Sure, it's a brunch game. Perfect for the drinking game.
Mimosas, perfect. Ty, Yanni had a rough time tonight. Not a dud, but not himself. I agree with that, and I also agree with reading ID. Yanni smiling in a scrum would be a good non-negative for the drinking game.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I agree with that
Scrum
one.
Gonna be in there.
Should it be every time somebody tries to fight Jamie Alexiak looking to make a name for themselves is part of the drinking game, or every time Jamie Alexiak gives in and just beats the snot out of them?
I'd say every time like an opponent regrets messing with Jamie Alexiak. That'd be the one. Yeah,
that's it. Because you could just tell that's what guys do. He'll come up trying to pick a fight. Rarely gives in, but when he does, he just punishes them. It's awesome.
Yep.
Let's see. Schultz, Dylan, will you be the man on the ground with the Coachella Valley team? Ooh, I would love to be. Probably a little too far away from where I'm at, though, to do it.
Yeah, maybe once a year or something, making it out to a game.
Yeah, even more than that. I mean, it's close enough to do it more regularly than like going to Seattle. That's for sure. But yes, I would definitely do my best, and we're gonna for sure be covering everything that goes on down there.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. But I think we'll do one quick last call for anything else from anybody. Otherwise, I think that's gonna do it. We'll be right back at it tomorrow. So, if anybody thinks of anything, just save it for then. Hopefully, we can get a win. That'd be nice.
Yep. Yeah. Oh yeah. One more thing, real quick. Today, I went to the I think it's called Science of Hockey exhibit at the Pacific Science Center. I know they mentioned that on the broadcast. But I got to check it out today. Cool little exhibit. They have a few different things you could try. I love anything where you get to test out your own hockey skills. They had a hardest shot thing that'll record the speed of your shot. They had some accuracy shooting. So that was fun. They got bubble hockey. They had a little trivia challenge. Lots of cool stuff like that. If you're in the area, I mean, it's right by Seattle Center. Check it out.
Yeah, I figured we'd do that on the podcast too. Go a little bit more in depth and for a little bit of a larger audience. So be ready, because we want to know what your shots at these days.
Yeah, I got the full in-depth details. I got video if you want to see it, Dylan.
Yeah, we could add it to the video portion of the podcast even. So.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah. All right. Been there too. It's well done. That's from Ty. Awesome. Cracking me up. Keep smiling, y'all. Let's chase the Blues away tomorrow. Love that. That is definitely it. A birthday present to me. All right, we get another birthday tomorrow. Awesome.
All right, love it.
I wish the shooting drill moved. It's from Ty. Some dude just blasting 5-hole over and over.
Oh yeah, that was me, by the way.
I was gonna say.
Okay, that makes sense. Like, there's no reason to do anything else because it just gives you the same amount of points no matter where you shoot. So we'll
Yeah.
get into it on the podcast, but yeah.
All right, sounds good. Looking forward to that. Looking forward to tomorrow. We will see everybody after that game against the Blues. 5 o'clock start, or Pacific time, that is.
Yep.
Adjust accordingly.